everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and I am doing a reaction video, I guess. So I just wrapped the CSM a couple of hours ago. We had a wonderful time, a huge diverse array of decks represented both in the tournament proper and in the top cut, and I think the winner will surprise you. There will be a video about that out tomorrow, but I took a couple of hours to decompress, gather my thoughts, and then, like an idiot, I logged on to twitter.com. And what did I see but this? This is a new Forbidden and Limited list that has been announced on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and will go into effect on May 9th. The source of this is just at Master Duel's site. This is its broadest thing. It is not an official Konami publication, but I don't think he's been wrong yet, so I am willing to believe it. And one of the reasons I'm willing to believe it is because it is so offensive that I don't think anyone would have tried to pass off something so absolutely stupid as this as real if it was fake. Yeah, I can't really do a blind reaction, but I'll reenact it for you right now. What the fuck? So let's get into it, I guess. Before we get into the individual card by card, I want to talk for a second about like the macro philosophy of banning cards in Master Duel specifically. So Master Duel's only competitive format right now that's not being run by members of the community is best of one. As a result, a couple of decks that are not particularly good in boarded games but killers in game ones are way overrepresented on ladder. I'm talking things like Eldritch and I'm talking things like Drytron. This two class of decks, super uninteractive but easily disruptible decks, are probably what you want to curb in order to cultivate a better ladder experience for the average player. In high-level competitive events that take themselves seriously, so discounting the ones that are run at YCSs where you're allowed to register a 10,000 card sideboard, there's basically only one deck worth playing, and that's Zodiac Tri-Brigade. The deck is exceptionally good going first, has easy Zeus lines going second, and as a result, it's adaptable enough to fit into a tournament setting. Now, this format we're currently experiencing in Master Duel lines up with a series of formats that we experienced in the TCG and the OCG 6 months to a year ago, because that's how far back they're lagging on releases and ban lists. So as a result, we not only know what decks are good, we know what decks are going to be good when new sets are released, and we know what cards have to be removed from these decks for them to no longer be killers. You actually have to nut up and ban Zodiac Trident if you don't want people making Zeus every game. You actually have to hit Ava if you want people to stop playing Drytron that are not named Tatsim exactly. You actually have to pretend that Block Dragon exists instead of sweeping it under the rug and hoping that people don't add 8 and 2 together and realize that Barone is in the game now. Which is why I find this list so baffling. It's 2 limits, 1 unlimit to a card that has an errata, and 9 semi-limits. Like, this is a list that would get you laughed out of Zodiac Duelist. So let's go into the individual cards and see what, if anything, this changes. So first I want to talk about the easy ones. Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon was unlimited because it has an errata that makes it a hard once per turn. This is completely fine, brings it in line with where they want the card to be and where it is in the TCG and OCG. Not going to be a problem. DD Dynamite was put to 2. What the fuck? The Banquet Burn DD Dynamite deck that this enables is not good. It is easily disruptible, it absolutely must go first, and if you're that concerned about it, entering a game with a 13-card extra deck nets you a win 100% of the time. However, the deck is very popular online, not because it's strong, but because someone coded a bot to play the game for them. Instead of figuring out a way to prevent the bots from existing, Konami has hit a card from their own game to counteract a piece of third-party software designed to exploit the gem economy of their game. It's just unbelievable that this is the solution that we have landed on. So let's jump to the limits. We'll begin with Cyber Angel Benten. This is the first and I think only hit I truly do agree with. Cyber Angel Benten was limited in the TCG as well. Before its limit, Drytron was an exceptionally explosive deck that never ran out of material. Benten searching, Benten searching, Benten searching, Benten was just atrocious. Its ability to add any fairy means that you can ensure you will have negation in your hand, either through Ava or through something like Herald of the Orange Light. Even if your opponent is able to Dark Ruler no more your board, it is an exceptionally powerful card, and 1 copy allows the deck to still exist while not making it as unfair. I do think this is a good place for Drytron to be. I would have liked to see maybe an additional hit, something like the Ava ban that has brought it to heel in the United States, but I'm fine with this. Conquistador of the Golden Land. I mean, you have got to be shitting me. This is an appalling hit. I might be a little biased. I do like Eldritch as a deck. I think it's a good introduction for newer players. It forces them to learn the format because it's a control deck. It's not super explosive, so you don't have to memorize all these long combos, and it teaches you good fundamentals because there are some weird intricacies about how normal monsters that cause an effect to happen trigger, and you get acquainted with Yu-Gi-Oh's weird rules very quickly. And don't get me wrong, Eldritch is very popular on Master Duel's ladder as well, but it's not because of the second and third copy of Conquistador. It's because we don't have Draco back, and all of the floodgates are at 3. No one loads into a Master Duel game against Eldritch and goes, oh god, not 3 Conquistador again. They curse the name of Skill Drain, Rivalry of Warlords, Gozen Match, There Can Be Only One, all cards that are pub stompers in best of 1, and good candidates for a ban based on Master Duel's specific rule set, and they've hit Conquistador. I mean, next up is Sekka's Light to 2. I really don't understand what's going on here. I think this is meant to be a hit to Adamancipator, but Adamancipator has 2 distinct builds, one that plays Sekka's Light and one that doesn't, and it's not even clear that the Sekka's Light build is the better version of the deck. Sekka's Light is at 1 here in the TCG, and it always baffled me as well. It was only ever good in this weird Block Dragon Burning Abyss style deck over here, and a couple of very greedy Adamancipator brews. But changing it from 3 to 2 doesn't drastically impact the playability of that deck, especially when you can just opt out of playing it entirely. I truly don't understand what this is for. FD is clearly a pre-hit to Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and if you are a Master Duel only player who expects that this will prevent it from being the force that it was in the TCG, sorry. The Phantom Knights of Torn Scale to 2. Truly a hit that could only have come from the minds at Konami. So the Phantom Knights of Torn Scale is part of long setup combos in Phantom Knight, which is a deck that is popular in Master Duel. But it's not even like the best normal summon in the deck. You're still trying to go for like Tour Guide from the Underworld in order to set up a Cherubini while committing to only your normal summon, or you're trying to do it without committing to your normal summon by using a bunch of the free enablers and the psychic monsters and E-Tellies. This is all in service of a game plan that ends on Rongo Nimiad, a card that is truly unfair and extremely unfun to play against with very few counters in this format. Torn Scale going from 3 to 2 changes nothing about this. The hit that ended this in the TCG was the Rongo ban, and we were all very happy about it. Trust me, you're not going to piss off Rongo fans. Next up is Tri-Brigade Fractal to 2. I'll be honest with you, this is another pretty inoffensive hit. Zodiac Tri-Brigade is the most powerful deck by a country mile. Tri-Brigade Fractal is one of the most powerful cards in that strategy. The ability to always find Fractal turn 1 and do the entire combo on its own is extremely frustrating. The ability to repeat it several times over the course of the game sucks. And while this doesn't prevent you from doing it twice, it does make it a little harder to find. I much prefer the TCG's way of limiting this card, which was putting Tanky at 1, the search spell for this card specifically, in a deck that is only playing the Tri-Brigade monsters, but I'll take this. Lao Lao to 2 somehow makes less sense than Torn Scales to 2. So Virtual World is an exceptionally powerful deck in Master Duel, but a lot of its power is concentrated in cards like Kaloon, Lulu, Chuche, and of course VFD. Lao Lao is not a Virtual World you really want to open. He can be combo on his own if you've got maybe a couple other moving pieces, but searching him over the course of your combo is something that you do regularly, and putting him to 2 won't prevent you from doing that. On that note, Lyrilisk Cobalt Sparrow isn't fantastic to open either. She's fine because you can Sapphire Swallow her out, but frequently if you are playing a Cobalt Sparrow line, you are using Fractal to bin her. Putting her to 2 is completely meaningless because many of these decks are already on only 2 copies. Speaking of, Prankid Roxy's is part of Prankid, a very powerful deck in Master Duel because Meow Moo, which is at 1 in the TCG, is at 3 in Master Duel. Roxy's is the least powerful Prankid. The only argument I can see for putting this card to 2 is that it is being splashed in Adamancipator builds, and it's a rock, so it's less likely to mill off the top of your deck with the effect of an Adamancipator if there's less copies, but again, Adamancipator has no problem filling those gaps if they're allowed to play 3 Block Dragon. And finally, Adamancipator Analyzer to 2 is a hit that completely misses the point of Adamancipator. Like Lao Lao, like Torn Scale, like Cobalt Sparrow. It is a card that is very powerful and good to have, but by no means is it the reason that Adamancipator is a tiered deck. Its power is concentrated in Block Dragon, in the unique Starline setups that allow it to make Baron super early, in the recursive nature of all of its plays. Analyzer is a really sick card, but putting it to 2 doesn't fundamentally change the reality that those interactions can still drive a shell of extremely powerful cards. At bottom, this is a list that seeds ground to individuals who have coded bots to take advantage of Master Duel's Best of One system. It is a list that acknowledges the Best of One system has some inherent flaws, but refuses to do anything fundamentally good or interesting in order to fix them. It is lip service to people who have been asking for bans, but it is also a middle finger to them because none of these bans change anything except for maybe the flavor of stun deck you are going to run into. I am truly disappointed with this in a way that I have never been disappointed with a ban list in my life. The TCG list at the start of COVID that unhit 3 cards and had no other changes because they didn't want to jeopardize the potential of future paper play made more sense than this one. Honestly, I hope to God I am being trolled. I don't know. I know at the very beginning of Master Duel's lifespan, Konami was talking up how they wanted to invest in this the way you would invest in an esport. But so far, all we've got is some side events at some YCSs, no way to Worlds, and now, in terms of competitive play, a ban list that truly looks like it was dreamed up by Zodiac Duelist. The only explanation for this I can honestly muster is that there just isn't anyone in the Master Duel division with a working understanding of the purpose of ban lists or how to effectively implement them. Konami, I've said it before and I'll say it again. My DMs are open. I will happily freelance for you. My rates are super competitive. There is not a person alive who has spent more time thinking about hypothetical ban lists and testing for them than I have. Please, let me just send you a paragraph about this. This is, I mean, embarrassing.